Right now, you are probably sitting at a kitchen table or maybe a desk, just staring at this massive pile of choices.
Yeah, trying to make that one really difficult decision.
Exactly. And you probably feel like, well, you probably think that your hesitation is a sign of weakness or maybe a lack of faith.
Right, which is such a common feeling.
It is. But looking at the stack of notes you sent over from FaithFlow Rooted Ministry, there's a really clear theme that paralysis, it isn't actually a faith problem, it's a focus problem.
Yes, exactly.
So for this deep dive, we're exploring how you can actually make decisions without that constant second guessing, how to lead from a place of peace instead of, panic.
And to really understand that focus problem, we have to look at what's happening beneath the surface. I mean, decision fatigue usually isn't about having too many bad options.
No, it's more about exhaustion. Right.
Totally. It is the exhaustion that sets in when you try to carry your responsibilities through, well, personal impulse rather than a divine partnership.
Okay, wait, by personal impulse, you mean like that knee-jerk reaction to just fire off a quick email to fix a problem and relieve the pressure?
That is exactly it. You just want the pressure gone immediately. Whereas the divine partnership is having the discipline to step back and align with your core values first.
So there's a pretty big disconnect there.
A huge one. The book of James, specifically James chapter 1, or verses 5 through 8, actually talks about this. It calls it double-mindedness.
Double-mindedness, like
Yeah.
trying to play by two completely different rule books at the exact same time?
Exactly. It's trying to satisfy both the urgency of the world and the wisdom of God at the same time. And it creates so much instability.
Which makes decision-making feel absolutely impossible. It's like trying to read a compass in a room completely full of magnets. Every single piece of outside advice or cultural expectation just pulls your needle off true north.
That is such a good way to put it. And getting back to true north requires a major perspective shift. I mean, wisdom isn't this intellectual talent you just have to muster up.
Right. It's not a skill you just practice until you're perfect at it.
No, it's a generous gift that God provides when you simply ask for it. And that actually sits right at the heart of FaithFlow's core belief.
That you are designed to serve and lead in the way God actually shaped you.
Yes, which means pausing to listen before you just react to the magnets.
I see this all the time with team leaders or even parents. There's a sudden conflict, the clock is ticking, and the world is standing there tapping its watch, demanding a rapid reaction.
Oh, absolutely. The pressure is just so intense in those moments.
But spiritual clarity asks you to pause and ask a totally different question. Is this choice driven by peace, or is it driven by pressure?
And that single question changes the entire dynamic of how we approach our daily lives.
But let's be real for a second. Pausing to listen sounds amazing in a quiet room. What about when you do that, you take a breath, and you still have absolutely no idea what to do? The fog just hasn't lifted. Then what?
Yeah, that happens to everyone. When you are stuck in that fog, you need something tangible to hold on to. That's exactly why your notes emphasize resources like the 7 anchors for every leader guide.
Right, because they act like literal grounding points when your compass is just spinning out of control.
Exactly. For example, one of the anchors in that book is about auditing your urgency. Literally pausing to evaluate if a deadline is actually real.
Or if it's just a symptom of someone else's anxiety pushing on you.
Yes, that is exactly how you start untangling the pressure from the piece. You seek wisdom from above rather than a quick fix.
So it's really about breaking down the panic into something manageable. And then the other resource you mentioned here, the Mini Courage and Calling book, that seems to tackle the next phase, right? The taking action part.
Right, because courage isn't about waiting for the fear to completely vanish. It almost never vanishes completely.
Right, you'd be waiting forever.
Exactly. It's about choosing to take intentional, steady steps forward, even when the final outcome remains totally unseen.
Which really normalizes the reality that growth is just slow.
It is very slow. And you do not need to have flawless faith to make a good choice. You really just need to take the next faithful step.
Yeah, that takes so much weight off your shoulders.
It really does. And if you are looking for a steady place to continue exploring that kind of grounded walk, well, FaithFlow Rooted Ministry is just a wonderful companion for that journey.
So before you make that next big call, I want to leave you with a completely different way to look at this. What if the hesitation you are feeling right now isn't actually indecision?
Oh, that's a great point. What if it's something else?
Right. What if it's actually divine timing, just preparing you for the exact right step? Take a breath, clear the room of magnets, and give your compass a quiet moment to find true north.